All right, everybody, thanks for coming today. I want to introduce you to a very dear friend of mine who is a fabulous photographer and so much fun to work with on set. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tori Rust. Tori, say hi.
Hello. It's so weird because they're not here yet, but they'll be here later at a
They
different
will
day.
be.
I love
They'll see
it.
you. It'll be like they were here.
Yeah, we feel you. I feel them.
Awesome. Tori, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us how you got into the industry.
Yeah, well, I'm Tori. I am a photographer and I started in this industry. I guess it really got my start when I went to grad school for fashion photography at SVA in New York.
Mhm.
Um, but prior to that, I was shooting. Like I was always like had a camera in my hands in high school. I was that person taking pictures of my friends. Um, in college and undergrad, I would make my friends dress up and I would make them go to Goodwill with me and find like a little bit crazier and more colorful outfits than they had because they all were just like kind of
In black.
normal, basic, for lack of better words. Um, and so I was shooting and eventually I ended up at SVA, and it was the perfect program to kind of launch my career. They have a 1 year grad program, which is like the perfect amount. I didn't need to go to more school than that. And the professors were all adjuncts. So they worked, like, we had a professor who worked at Vogue. We had an art critic as a professor. And
Cool.
it was such a good time to just like mess around and practice. And every week I was like shooting a test, whether it was like, you know, on the streets by my house, and like we'd have a stylist like bring some clothes to my house and we change and we run around the city and do stuff like that. But basically, when I was at SVA, I just created a lot of work, and through that I started to figure out who I am aesthetically, at least, or like
Mhm.
what kind of work I love doing and what makes sense for me. Um, and so when I graduated, it was pretty clear like what kind of work I liked creating, which is like positive, high energy, really colorful work. I shot a few things that weren't that in school, but then I was like, nah, this is not going to be me. I just like put it out of my mind and was like, I'm going to take this colorful, positive energy because that's also a reflection of like I think me a little bit.
Yeah, it totally
Um,
is.
yeah, I'm gonna go like full force with it. So then I just started shooting. I had I never assisted. I've always said that I would be the worst assistant. Okay, that's not true. I assisted a photographer like once or twice on a job, and
How did that go?
not no.
You're like,
I have a really hard time caring. I have a hard time caring about it if it's not something that I like
we're
am
passionate
doing.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've always known that too. Like I had internships where I they weren't photo internships, but like I just like would go to them and be like, I'm not motivated to work hard
Mhm.
for this because I don't care about it. Um, so I took undergrad, I went to school for PR. So I took my PR background and was like, oh, I have this portfolio from grad school. I'm going to stop shooting unpaid stuff and I'm going to email everybody. I'm going to have coffee with everybody. I'm going to slide into people's DMs and like and kind of, when I slide into people's DMs, I would be, love your work, would love to work with you. When can you meet up to grab coffee? Not like, would love to grab coffee. Are you interested? I'd just be like, when are you available?
Very good. You made it
Yeah.
a thing like, let's do this, actually do this, not maybe do this.
Yeah. And it worked out. I started shooting out of grad school. I was shooting for Barney's in the first year and New York Mag in the
Wow.
first year. And that was really exciting.
That is
Um,
exciting.
yeah. And so then I just kept rolling, like I asked people that I already knew for introductions to people. I just did like the PR, like business side of stuff. And I tried really hard to like not do unpaid work for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
And it worked out.
That is brilliant, actually. And that's a really unique approach, I feel like. I don't think I hear that a lot. I think a lot of young photographers decide that they want to be David Sims or they want to be this person and try and force themselves into that mold. rather
Mhm.
than doing what you did and going like, no, this is what I'm about. This feels right to me. And just embracing who you are rather
Yeah.
than trying to become something else entirely.
Well, I also think the reason why I did that is because, I mean, I'm from North Dakota. I like never really knew who David Sims was growing, like
Right.
I wasn't the person who would like, I shouldn't say this, but I wasn't the person who like always flipped through like the magazine was like, oh, this is going to be my job. I loved this job, and I got into this because of the people. Like I just
Mm,
kind of kept pulling at that thread. Like I was like, whenever I'm shooting, I get into this flow state because I get to meet these new people all the time and feel other people's energies. And
exciting.
so I didn't care about the traditional route of like assisting and like really learning lighting, which there's some definitely value to that, but
Mhm.
it just never really, honestly, never really occurred to me that that's not it.
Though, I mean, there's value in both things. I feel like you're right, there is definitely value in assisting, but you said something that I think is interesting that goes across the board for no matter what, whether you're doing hair or makeup or photography or whatever. It's like, if you're not into it, if you're not going to give yourself to it, don't do
Yeah.
it. Just don't
Yeah.
do it, because having an assistant that's just sitting there looking on their phone or not really on the job is worse than not having anybody at all.
Oh yeah, because it also makes you like angry and then it makes you not perform well. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's a good lesson for like regular life too, which I've learned that in my professional life, but like in my personal life, I'm just trying to like if your heart's not in it, just like don't do it.
Yeah,
You know?
that's absolutely right. That's a good life lesson overall, not just for work.
Yeah.
I love it. Tori, you're already making my morning better. You're like, no, but
I've been
it's true.
learning
And you're right. Your work is a definite reflection of your personality, I feel like, of who you are. Because you're
I
about
think,
that. It's like a fun vibe on set with you. It's super fun. Like we always have a good time.
yeah.
And I always walk away with a story, which is fun, I
Oh
feel.
my God. I need to hear these stories. Oh my goodness.
One or two of them. We were all in the middle of it. Like that one time that guy got that sunburn on his head from his hat when we were shooting.
Oh my, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
This guy had no hair, really lovely guy. And he had his baseball cap on backward. And then when he took it off, he had a sunburn in the shape of and it
The
looked like a
hat.
creepy
Oh my
third
God,
eye.
yeah. He
But
should have
anyway,
known
yeah.
that. That guy, he should have told us.
I know, like rub lotion on it or something. Turn the hat around. I don't know.
Lots of options here.
There's a lot you can do. That
Yeah,
is so funny. That's awesome. So you've moved to California in the last few months. You moved during COVID.
yeah,
And so how have you, because I know you've had jobs here and there, but how have you kept interested and inspired? Because it's such a weird time that I feel like this whole thing forced everyone to kind of pump the brakes. And I
yeah.
feel like so much of our job is momentum, like,
I mean, they say like once you get one job, then more jobs will come. It's
yeah,
totally that.
it is
I
totally.
I think during COVID, it was actually kind of a good stop for me in life. Like my whole life, I went to school, went to college, went to grad school, and then like started working, and I never really like slowed down. And that kind of forced me to move to LA, like, take the things that really mean something to me and like give a lot to that on a non-work basis. And I think that has helped me with choosing, like, I've said no to a lot of jobs this year because now I have more clarity on what I actually want to be doing. I like had time to listen. Like I wasn't going to like meetings and shooting every day like I had been. So
Yeah.
that was really great for me. And part of that like Tory exploration quiet time thing is I started going to I how do I say this? I started a class at UPenn in positive psychology. And so
Really?
I took a college class. Yeah. And it's not creative in the sense that, like, it's not visual and I'm not like making a product or art. But it did kind of inspire me because, as I was saying, like so much of my work is about the people that I work with and like that connection. This class helped me learn how to even get like a little deeper with talent or people on set. um, it helped me I don't know. I just like I just became obsessed with it, to be honest. It helped me like just wrap my head around things that I didn't know already. Like, you know, one of the lessons in that class was about like getting into your flow state. And when you're in your flow state, you lose track of time and like you really like um create something really awesome. I don't know how to explain exactly. I'm kind of butchering it, but
Okay.
I realize that I'm super lucky because when I am in my flow state, it's like 99% of the time is I'm shooting.
Yeah.
That is like my activity that I get into a flow state in. I'll shoot and then people will be like, "Oh, this is our last shot." And I'm like, "Oh, I
That's
felt
it?
like we just started." Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so I learned about like different ways of how to like set your environment so that it's easier to get into your flow state because there are like those days on set where like I need to get the fuck out of here. I just swore.
That's
Um,
okay.
I'm practicing not swearing. But I need to get out of here. Like it's been the longest day. I'm exhausted. These people are insane.
Yeah.
Um, but I think part of that attitude is because I didn't get into my flow state. So if I can kind of change my environment to like have a better chance of getting into my flow state, I'm able to navigate even like the crazy stuff that happens.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if there's a way to do that even on a smaller scale. Like, not everyone has the ability to pick who they work with, right?
Right.
Like a lot of photographers do have that, not always, but sometimes,
Yeah.
have the chance to pick who they want. They can suggest, but sometimes clients want what they want. That's fine. But I wonder
Right.
if you can do that in a more micro sense, just personally. I
Mm.
read this, not read, I saw this TED talk where this woman was talking about doing power poses before she would go to work.
Cool.
And she said that by standing in a certain way, it helped her readjust her mindset so that by the time she stepped into her office, she was in a much more positive frame of mind because she had set herself up for that
Yeah.
to basically take on something she didn't really want to do.
Right.
I guess that is a different thing. I do agree with you that
It's
it's good.
setting yourself up for success though. Like it's setting up your mental health or like your energy up for like to be able to have the best day that you could.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Super
And I do
important.
think that's great because when you're around someone who isn't trying at least to have a great time, to have a someone who anybody who takes the energy out of a room is exhausting. I think
Oh
because what we do requires everything that we have, you know?
yeah.
Like I
It
think
requires our artistry, but also like our soul.
yeah, it's true. It's true. And you can tell when someone A not isn't doing that, isn't getting
Yeah.
into it, and B is sort of just not wanting to be there or not that it completely ruins the vibes. It really does ruin the set day.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And
cool that you did that though.
yeah, the other thing that I guess I learned is kind of related, but before COVID hit, this is something I was getting pretty good at. But I noticed for years that I would like come home from shoot and then like eat shitty food and then wake up and then go back the next day. So I started um trying new little things to start my day and like have a good little morning routine, which is like so obvious. I think this is just like part of like becoming an adult. But
That's good though.
yeah, but like right before COVID hit, I was in such a good routine where I would like wake up and I would do like I would have my tea. I'd wake up early. Like if my call time was 8, I'd wake up at 5:30 and I'd have an hour and a half what I call Tory time. And that just like helped me so much. Like I would get on set, I would make better like eating choices on set. I
Mm,
would be more awake when I got there. So
yeah,
people already like kind of felt the energy of the day because I also feel like as the photographer, and I think it's the same for hair and makeup, like we kind of set the tone with the energy of the shoot.
for sure.
And so I'm like showing up after like I actually had breakfast and like had Tory time really helped.
That's awesome. A friend of mine's trying this thing, or two friends of mine have tried this thing, and they spoke to me about it. They're doing this thing called Pages where he says he wakes up and
Mm,
the first thing that he does is he starts writing just stream of consciousness stuff
yes, this is
about
from the
pages.
artist way.
Yeah, yeah. Is that what that is?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
call
said it really helps him.
it's so helpful. I call it grump grump dump. Like I just write all my grumpy thoughts, but
Really? I
yeah,
like that. That's funny. Let's get the crap out.
yeah. That's from The Artist's Way, which is such a cool book. Have you done it?
Mm-mm. I
Oh,
haven't
you,
tried it yet. We were just talking about it this past weekend.
yeah, you should definitely do it.
Yeah, I think so too. I feel like it would help me out. I feel like it's nice because you have so many ideas bouncing around, and I feel like sometimes you just need to clear the cobwebs so
Yeah.
you get a clearer picture of what you want or what you want to accomplish.
Yeah. That book also, so like they do the writing, the daily writing in the morning, but they also have you take yourself on creative dates, like
Okay.
once a week, I think. Like, and that's really fun. Just get the book, read the book, do the
All
book.
right. The
Yeah.
artist way.
The Artist's Way. Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll put it on the link underneath or whatever too when
Yeah.
we post this thing or whatever.
Do it.
Oh wow, that's cool. So as someone you've done very well in, I would say, a, not a short span, but you did well quickly. Like you got to a good place fast, which is awesome. I mean, I applaud that. And I do feel like a lot of it isn't just that you are good at your job, but that you are pleasant to be around. You know what I mean? That you make a nice day.
Makes me feel good. Thank you.
Yeah, it's true. And I'm a big advocate of that. I half of why I got into this job was because I thought, oh, I can spend the day with people I like. How
Yeah.
cool is that? You know what I mean? I used to work in the salons where I didn't like everybody, and it's not the vibe. I'm not into
Yeah.
that. But
I
yeah, you know what it's like. We've all had that. But how have you adjusted or coped or kept yourself into it, given the way this last year has been, like 2020 and this early 2021, and it has started off with in an insane way. How do you feel like you've kept yourself positive, I guess? Because that positive is your whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, as I kind of touched on, I focused a lot on like personal growth and like mental health and like all of that stuff that I like kind of
Yeah,
put
yeah,
on
yeah.
the back burner before. So with that,
I guess I'd already asked that, didn't I?
yeah, but I have another answer too.
Let's do it.
As far as it goes, as far as it goes for work, like how did I keep myself,
Yeah, that's the part that I'm curious about.
yeah, like how did I keep myself relevant? Like how did I keep getting jobs? What did I do? I'm naturally like a person who just like needs to be doing things, brewing up new ideas, whether it's photography or like taking a class at UPenn. Um, so come April, like after 2 weeks of being alone in my apartment with my cats, I started shooting, like doing virtual shoots. I was like, I'm gonna try this thing. I
You were
had
one of
only
the first persons I saw to do that.
I was one of the first people. I saw one other person do it, and I can't remember who shot it, but he shot Demi Lovato
Oh wow.
through Zoom. And so I was like, I'm just gonna try this. I called one of my friends who works at a brand, at a makeup brand that I work with. She's like their lead makeup artist. And I was like, she was already doing daily, what's it called? Like Insta lives for the brand.
Right.
So I was like, one day, once you've already done your makeup, just call me and let's do like one of these virtual shoots that I've seen only one of so far. And so we did it and it was fun and I was surprised by the,
Yeah.
not by the quality, but by the creativity.
Right.
I tried everything. I tried it on Zoom. I tried it on FaceTime. I took like, I had a really um, old Polaroid camera that I would take Polaroids of my screen. And it was really fun. It was just fun because I felt like I wasn't stuck anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
you're
I just
trying new things, new ways of doing something.
exactly. So I just kept doing it. I hit up some models that I've worked with a lot before that I really love. And I was like, let's just try this thing. I chose models that I knew would be down to like do their hair and their makeup.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and it was just really fun and eventually turned into jobs because for a while there, nobody was shooting in real life.
Yeah.
And so I shot for Glossier and I shot for Netflix and it was really cool.
How crazy. That's amazing, actually. That you know what I mean? I love
Yeah.
that. That is very much in line with your persona. Like I don't know. I feel like you're the kind of person who would be like, you're definitely turn lemons into lemonade kind of person.
Yeah,
Like,
and I will say, like, I was very, like, not depressed, but, like, I was in my house and I was like, "This is heavy, like, I don't know what's
Yeah,
happening." And I think I just started doing it because, like, I literally had nothing else to do.
yeah, yeah, and you needed to find something.
Yeah,
I
it didn't
understand that.
necessarily come from a positive place, but it turned positive,
You
if
did.
you know
I
what I
love
mean.
that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's actually very smart. And that's awesome. That's clever. So where do you see the business going? Like, what do you think is going to happen in the future?
Oh, man. I love this question, but I think we'll just kind of see it going in the same, not the same direction it has been, but I think we'll see brands being, hopefully being more thoughtful, um, not only about what content they're creating, but like about how they're hiring creatives. I hope so, at least.
Mhm.
Um, I over the last few months, the in real life shoots I've been on, I've realized how important it is to have productions that put care into their productions, and really care not only about the client that hired them, but also about like the people that are on their set.
Yeah.
Um, I think until COVID is over, we're gonna see brands, you could be confirmed on a shoot and it can be canceled the day before, like it has been over and over again. You could see brands pop up. You could get a text today, hey, can you shoot in 2 days? And because they're trying to get it in before COVID restrictions don't allow them to shoot. I think it'll just still be kind of bumpy.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is because of COVID. I also think part of it is because of messaging. I think brands have an idea of what they want to shoot, and then something happens, and then they're like, "Oh, we need to go back to the drawing board and refigure it out." But I hear a lot of people talking about like, are there going to be lower rates? Are things going to be harder to get jobs? I don't know. Who knows? But like, we had that before COVID too. So
True. I do think some brands are coming back around, though. I do think, even though COVID may not necessarily be going away, I think the idea that some vaccines are starting to come out, that there has been some measure of progress in dealing with this, I guess, that
yeah,
has given people just enough hope where they're like, we have to still sell this stuff. We still have to work. We can just do it in a responsible way. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I think the thing is that it's going to be slower, take a little more time, and cost a little bit more money to do that because with all the for hair and makeup people keeping your tools clean and disinfecting and doing all that stuff, we did all that stuff anyway. Now we're just letting you see it. We used to do that privately,
right,
but now it's like it makes people comfortable for them to see the barber side out or to see the stuff or whatever.
yeah,
But as far as everything else, I understand that when you want to be wary of proximity and be careful and trying social distance on set, that's just going to mean being a little more conscientious and taking a bit more time because
yeah.
I think we can make it work. You know what I mean? Like just be smart about it. I think it's just working smarter.
I think so too. And I honestly like a little bit how it's slowed us down on set.
Yeah.
I am the queen of getting a lot of shots done in a day, and I'll always be good at that because I'm decisive and I know when I have the image that I want.
Mhm.
But I think there's something about like the energy in the room, like not feeling rushed. And I
Yeah.
think now I'm like, oh, I only have to do 12 shots today. Great. Like as opposed to like, 18 or 20.
Mhm.
Um, I can really focus on, I don't know, like I can just feel calmer. I can
Yeah.
focus on like what's happening instead of thinking about, oh, is the other talent getting ready for the next shot? I don't know if that
Yeah.
makes
I fully get that because I feel like I know that you are that way, but not everybody operates at the same speed. And so it's nice to put it down to a speed where everyone can give their best.
which is
Because
like what the speed
sometimes,
used to be, like
yeah, yeah, what
before
I
I was in this job, like, before this generation of
yeah,
like
of banging out 100 looks in a day or something. That wasn't,
before social media, probably.
yeah, 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 to a degree for sure. And when it became so, yeah, that's true. But I do think that I think when you have a little bit more time between shots, then you also have time to be more creative because then
Right,
you have time to think about it. You can have a makeup artist go, hey, for these next three, I really think we should do this color lip or this. And she may not have time to think about that before. Or if
right.
you're meeting a hairdresser can go, hang on, now that we have a second, let me pull her hair into this look. I think this will look great for what we're doing.
Well,
Like, you
and also they can save, client can save more money too, right? Like if you're being more mindful and thoughtful and have more time to do hair and makeup, you're
yeah,
not going to have to pay as much for retouching. And like
exactly.
there's some things when you're going super, super fast that fall through the cracks that end up costing more later on.
Yeah,
Or
it's true. That super quick photography was always like racing quick, not like decisive good quick, but just like trying to bang out 80 pictures. That was always how do they call it? Penny wise and pound foolish. Like they
yeah,
always paid for it and on the end, on the other end of it, you know?
yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's always the thing too. Like when I keep tying things to personal, but like that's kind of the same. Like when you're not rushing and you're taking time, this is why people meditate. When you're taking time to like listen,
Yeah.
you probably are more productive.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's
Oh my
awesome.
gosh. I still feel so adult. I'm like connecting all these things.
I love it.
So,
You are full of wisdom, Tori. I'm living for it. Oh my God, this was awesome. Thank you so much for doing this for me.
I know I miss you.
I miss you too. I know. I mean, I'm happy that you're so happy out in LA. That's awesome. And that
Yeah.
totally is a great place. You know, I love it out there too. I love going out there. So
Yeah.
before all this hit, I was really focusing on being more bi-coastal, but
Yeah.
because I love going out there. But I'm glad that you live out there. I feel like that's a good place for you. But I can't wait to see you again.
Same seas.
It'll be so great to see you
I'll
soon.
see you soon, hopefully.
Hopefully very soon.
Yeah.
Mwah. Thanks, Tori. You're
Yeah.
awesome.
Bye.
Bye.
Are we actually?